Hey, I'm Nathan with Blue Oak, and today I'm going to show you the timber hitch. Timber hitch is a fantastic foundational knot to learn if you're in tree work. It is used to secure rigging hardware such as a Porta-wrap or a block to a tree, typically to the base of a tree. The climber can use the timber hitch to tie off limbs for rigging as well. And then ground workers can use a timber hitch to set up a climber's base tie. So it has a wide range of applications. It's a very secure hitch when it's tied correctly, and it's very easy to learn. So I'm going to go over tying the timber hitch with a Porta-wrap. Tying the timber hitch with a Porta-wrap. The first thing with a Porta-wrap is you need to know how to attach your deadeye sling to the Porta-wrap. The way we attach our deadeye sling to our Porta-wrap is with a girth hitch. But it does matter which side of the Porta-wrap we girth hitch to. We do not want to girth hitch to the shorter bent shaft, okay? We want to girth hitch to this longer straight section of metal, okay? And ignore the pins on your Porta-wrap for right now. Simply pass it through, and you can either pull the entire tail through itself like so. I'll demonstrate like that, or you can pass it through the entire eye like this, and pass the Porta-wrap through the entire eye if your eye is large enough. If your eye is not large enough, you have to pass the tail through. All right, so that's how we girth hitch our Porta-wrap sling to our Porta-wrap, the long side of the bar that goes all the way across. All right, now we're going to determine where we want our Porta-wrap to be facing. Usually we want our Porta-wrap to be facing in line with the block and with the rigging angles, but we don't have a block in this case, so I'm just going to have the Porta-wrap facing the camera. I'm just going to leave the Porta-wrap on the ground here. We typically want our Porta-wrap to be low to the trunk, with exception of like a really flared out tree. We need to get above that flare maybe, but you can still do it this way. You can just start with your Porta-wrap on the ground even if you have a really wide flare, and then you can take your tail and walk around. And then we're simply going to capture our standing part of our sling here. Now the standing part of the sling is, in this case, it becomes the throat of the eye. Now, I want to say, don't go through the eye right here. Don't go through that. Don't get confused. Once this deadeye sling is attached to your Porta-wrap, then just consider it like one rope. Pretend that there is no opening here anymore at all. It's just, pretend it's all just one rope. I'm going to go underneath, and I'm going to capture it. Once you've captured it, you immediately need to start wrapping back the way you came. Okay, so we're going to wrap like so, that way. However, if I had come over top, that would be that you can do that, but in that case we're going to wrap this way, okay? Going up like so, and then you just keep wrapping. Now, that's the procedure there. Let me demonstrate if I were to walk this from the other side, and this is very important. It's very important because there's multiple ways to tie a knot. What if I had brought my sling around from the other side? What if I had brought my sling around from this side? Well, should I still wrap that way? No. I need to wrap back the way I came. So either go over and come under and start wrapping up, like from, up down, or go under your Porta-wrap, your throat there, and then start wrapping. But again, you're still gonna wrap opposite the way that you came from, okay? So we're gonna, now here's the next rule. We wanna spread our wraps out a little bit, and we don't wanna be in midair You see how this tree has a flare right here? It's got a little bit of a deep flare. We don't want any of our wraps to be in a position where they're not in contact with the tree bark. That would be very bad, okay? Because it doesn't provide the friction that is essential for this hitch to work. We're gonna incorporate 4 hitches that are in contact with the tree bark. You can do more than 4 if you want to, but you need to do at least 4. And then you need to terminate with a half hitch, at least 1. But if you're doing really heavy loads, then it's advisable to do 2 half hitches to finish. And I usually do my second half hitch as a slip half hitch. All right, and that is a correctly set up Porta-wrap. Let's go back to our Porta-wrap and just see a couple of the things that make this nice and neat. One, it's as low to the stem, low down to the base as I can get. That makes it easier on the ground guy in the event that they have to do a hoist or set up a 3-to-1 on this or anything like that. It has limited extension, very limited extension. That means that the device is very close to the trunk. It's not like way out here, because when this thing gets loaded, it's going to stand up. And if I have a lot of extension, it's not nice and tight to the tree, then when it stands up, it's going to be like way up here, and ground guys are going to have a lot harder time tensioning that line, working the Porta-wrap. If they have to like try to reach up here, they won't be able to tension the line properly at all. So having it low to the ground, tight up against the base of the tree is good. I've got 4 wraps in contact with the bark. I've got 2 half hitches as backups. This Porta-wrap is ready to go. We're not going to go over loading it right now. We're just talking about the timber hitch. I'm going to show you another method. But this method doesn't allow the Porta-wrap to be quite as close and snug up against the base of the tree. So, you know, this is a technique where if you're pretty confident that you don't need it to be super low and super tight up against the tree, then this is a faster technique. Now to do this technique, we're actually gonna tie the timber hitch with the sling without the Porta-wrap attached. So if you're new to this, if you're new to tying the timber hitch, I recommend attaching the Porta-wrap first, because it's a lot easier to work with and understand and not get confused. But as you gain some experience, try this technique out and you'll be a little bit faster. All right, so first we're just gonna take our dead-eye sling, swing it around, and then we're going to just start putting twists in here. We make a bite and then we start twisting it up a bunch of times. And then we just simply pass the eye through, press it up a little bit, make sure we're good. And this is why we need a little bit more extension in this case, because we need the eye to go through the entire Porta-wrap. So we go around that longer section and we've set up a Porta-wrap much faster. But look at how much extension is here, all right? So this one takes a little bit more practice to rehearse so that you can limit this extension as much as possible, but you still need to have at least enough to have access to all of your eye. Before, if you make it so tight that you got like that, you're not going to be able to get the Porta-wrap attached after you tied your timber bit. And you still need to come back here and do your half hitches as backups, but you can just do a slip half hitch and tuck the tail. That's also a fast way to do it. Then when you take it off, if you have enough extension to work with, then you can just slip this eye over the entire Porta-wrap. This is a much faster way of taking it off as well. Now, load it in the truck. All right, so there's 2 ways to tie a Porta-wrap with a timber hitch. 2 ways to tie the timber hitch.